Alright, hey everyone, what's going on? My name is Axel, and this is not going to be a Starcraft 2 replay. Well, it is, but it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to try something new. In this video, I am going to not really walk through, I'm going to analyze? Not really analyze. I'm going to talk about a game that I played. It's a PvP, and we're just going to watch it together. And that's what's going to happen. First time trying this, we'll see how it goes. If you guys don't like it, it's fine. I can stop doing it. If you do like it, let me know in the comments, and then I can keep doing it. Obviously, it's a little bit more helpful if you're a Protoss player. I guess you get more out of it. Or, I guess if you're a caster, you're trying to get into casting, it can help you, you know, increase your knowledge about the game. Or if you're just if you're a StarCraft 2 fan in general, and want to help yourself, you know, understand matchups better. Maybe you don't know a lot about PvP. Not that I do. I feel like I have a decent understanding of the matchup, but honestly, who does? It's really hard to say because relatively, like 5 years from now, it's going to be completely different. That being said, I'm actually going to lower the... That sounded really loud to me, so I'm just going to lower that a teensy tiny bit. So yeah, this is really casual. We're just chilling. And we're going to analyze this game. Also, you know, when I usually cast, I'm usually very professional, or at least I try to be. And, you know, I don't curse, I don't do anything like that. But in this video, I reserve the right to use bad language because, I don't know, I feel like it, or if I do feel like it. But yeah, let's just talk about it. So it is going to be a PvP. I'm in the bottom right-hand location. My opponent is in the bottom left. I don't know if I'm going to open the production tab at all. I don't know if I'm going to talk as much about my opponent. We'll see what happens though. But it's a PvP. This was a ladder game. I am Masters. I think my record right now is what, 15 and 8 or something like that. Pretty good record, but it is just the beginning of the season. I'm around like rank 30 in my Masters division. I've been trying to play a lot more. I haven't really played much in the past, but I'm trying to play a lot more. And I guess this will help me too as a player. It'll help me get better. But yeah, the map is Shakur's Plateau. A couple things to say about this map. I'm scouting on after my gateway. I don't think it's terribly necessary to scout after pylon. I mean, the main reason you do that is to look for proxies and stuff, but I feel comfortable enough with my micro that even if I scout the proxy a little bit later, I can still hold it off. You know, proxy shenanigans aren't as strong as they used to be in PvP. So yeah, I favor sending the probe out a little bit earlier, just to, you know, a little bit later I should say, because I keep the probe longer, I get more money, and my economy is better. So yeah, a little bit about the map. Very large base here, so you have to be very proactive as a Protoss player about any player about checking for proxy punch from your opponent, checking for hidden probes. It's a very big base, but in the long run, it's a good thing because you have more room to build stuff, and it's fun building stuff. But at your natural expansion, very easy to take. Look at that ramp, so small, so easy to protect, and that's kind of, you know, that's what's on my mind here. I'm like, okay, it's PvP. I want to expand. That's what I want to do. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you can't expand in PvP. It used to be true, but now I don't think it is. Okay, taking gas soon after my Cyber Core, and then my Zealot a little bit later. I chrono boost that out. I think I messed up my timing a little bit here. Obviously, right when your Cyber Core is done, you want that Stalker to be started, and I kind of screwed up with the Warp Gate. I started that a little bit later. But enough about me sucking at this game. So yeah, chrono boosting out the Stalker as well. I like chrono boosting out my units in the beginning, because, you know, my goal right now is to make sure I'm safe from 4-gate. That's the main goal in the early game PvP right now. Just to make sure I'm safe from that 4-gate that might come. So I chrono boost out my Zealot, chrono boost out my Stalker. Of course, I want to get rid of that probe. Unfortunately, his probe gets out of there right when my Stalker pops out. Supply block for a couple seconds, not a huge deal. But yeah, always awesome if you can kill that probe. Like, don't be afraid if their probe goes through your mineral line. Don't be afraid to surround it and kill it. It's so helpful in the long run. It gives you an advantage, kind of, like, if you think about it, because they don't have that probe in your main base. And they have to send another one if they want to do any forward aggression, but like you can just breathe a sigh of relief because you have like a little bit more time than you would have. Because usually 4-gate, like, it hits really hard and really fast. LOL. Okay, that's a pretty funny way of wording it, but just ignore that. Anyway, okay, I'm getting out another sentry really fast again. The main idea: get my sentries out, get their energy up, so I can have force fields to block the ramp. Because if you have force fields, 4-gate won't work as long as you control it correctly. Obviously, if you're getting 4-gated, target down the probe, kill the probe. Don't let the probe get in your base, or you will fucking die. Okay, so kill the probe before it gets in your base. Target it down. Don't let it go. Don't let it build a pylon. If you gets a pylon down, you're fucked. Bring your probes from your mineral line. Make sure it's dead. Otherwise, force field right at the bottom. They don't get any vision. They can't get up. So that's good. So I went straight into robotics facility. You know, idea here is get a fast observer as fast as possible. As I started, observe it. There it is. Starting a robotics base as well. Again, this is kind of in the same tune. I killed that early, or I didn't kill it. I just saw it go, and look, I have 2 sentries with full energy, so I feel relatively safe here. And again, I'm getting this really fast observer, so... Oh god, that was so bad. I'm so sorry. That was... I remember that happened. I was just like... Okay, what I do is I select my units, and then I get ready to hold F, and I actually hit the F button. I don't know what it does. Okay. Oh. I hit the F button. Apparently that means forward. It makes a lot of sense. It's kind of logical. But yeah, I hit the F button, and then I position my force field at the bottom of the ramp. But right here, I hit G instead of F. Don't do that. Don't do that, or you will die, and you're a terrible person. So don't do that. Okay. Robotics be really fast. My idea here is get Colossi out as fast as possible. Once you get Colossi out, you can feel relatively safe in PvP, especially if you get him out early. Because you saw how fast I got the robot. You saw how fast I got the robotics bay. It's going to be literally impossible for him to get faster Colossi than me. And you may be like, oh, what about Blink? Yeah, that's like the one build that like completely destroys this. Because if you put a force field at the bottom, they just blink up on top of the ramp. So have to be careful with that. But then again, you can scout with this observer. That's how you get it so fast, and you just see what he's doing. So my observer is going to come forward here, and he's going to see. I'm going to see his robo pretty quickly. So I'm like, oh, cool. I don't have to worry about Blink. I'm awesome, or I'm not awesome. I'll just be like, you know, I'm chilling because I feel comfortable. Because getting robo, I got my robo way before him. Robotics bay even further ahead. And I can feel safe because, like, honestly, if he just cranks out Immortals, like, he can't get out my ramp. He can't. He doesn't have any massive units. I have force fields, and then I'll have Colossi at the high ground. So I'm feeling really comfortable right now, and that's why I'm gonna expand pretty soon because there's another ramp right here, pretty easy to defend. What is he gonna do? Build Immortals? LOL. I'm gonna force field. You can't get by. So that's what's on my mind as well. What else? What else? Again, you may be like, oh, but what if he goes for Colossi? Well, I have Colossi insanely fast, so there's no way he's going to have more minutes. Ooh, I screwed this up so bad. I got supply locked around here. 45 out of 50? Oh, I should have canceled this probe, but I didn't. See, I'm 45 out of 50, and I just realized I click on my Nexus right there. Oh, to cancel it, but no, I wasn't able to cancel, so I'm like, 2 pylons really quickly. So, Colossus, 6 supply. I only have 5 supply room. Don't get supply locked, or you are a terrible person, and you should quit playing this game. Not just kidding, but again, be really cautious about whether or not you're being supply locked or whatever. Make sure you keep up on pylons. It's pretty cute. He got a warp prism. I don't have much anti-air at this point. And again, the reason of that, the reason of that, I don't know how to word that. Shut the fuck up. All right. My observer saw the robo. So I'm like, okay, robo, nothing comes, like, I don't have to worry about airplay that much. I don't have to worry about Phoenixes, Void Rays, so I don't really need anti-air too much. Just focusing on that Zealot count to boost up my ground army to have that. You need that stuff underneath it. You can't just build Colossus. It's stupid. You need stuff underneath it to absorb some of the damage, to act as a meat shield. And the Zealots get into my mineral line. Pretty decent damage, getting 3 workers. But in the long run, I end up dispelling it just fine. Warp Prism backs away. Alright, so that's all fine and dandy. But now this is really awkward, because what do you do when a Warp Prism there? Did you put down a Stargate to get a Phoenix to kill it? No. So now I have to be very cautious of this the entire game. So really cool. I love Warp Prisms in PvP. They are so good. So good. Build Warp Prisms in PvP. But the problem with this is, because he built that Warp Prism so early, his Colossi count is definitely not going to be up to par of mine. Look, he hasn't even started Colossi production. Hell, I don't even think he has. Okay, he just now put down his robotics bay. So I'm going to be fine in the Colossi count. And again, you have to think about this map. Okay, what can he do? What can he do to get by? He can't do anything if he doesn't have Colossi to crush his shields. Okay, sure, he could be like, oh, he could go Archons. And that's definitely a possibility, which is why you have to stay proactive with your observer. Oh, by the way, that was really gay. I don't know how he saw my probe. I like hit a probe up here. I have no... Oh, he must have saw it the watchtower. Okay, never mind. That makes sense. This is my first time rewatching the replay too, so anyway, we'll see what happens. But okay, what else? Keep making the Colossi. I feel safe to expand because, again, really easy to force field this off. He can't kill me. There's nothing he can do. So at this point, I just have to be wary of that Warp Prism, make sure he doesn't do any damage. So I stick my observer on him. They're best friends. Yeah, so taking that expansion. So now my goal is, all right, got to get my Colossi count up, get a Forge up relatively soon. I think I put that down pretty quickly here. You know, Forge for a number of reasons. First, upgrades, obviously very good in every matchup. You got to get those up. And cannons. Cannons are very good. You always want to have cannons in late game PvP. Because, think about it, if your opponent has Warp Prisms, they're burning supply. Supply is so important late game PvP. If you're 200 out of 200, like, you should never be 200 out of 200, to be honest, because you want to be able to warp in stuff. But, you know, in a sense, if you have cannons at your mineral lines, you don't have to worry about warping stuff in, and you don't have to worry about defending it. On top of that, I had another thought. Oh, it just lost me. Oh, yeah, okay. What do you need late game PvP? Like, actually, pretty much every raid. Protoss and Zerg, what do they really need late game? For their Colossi, their High Templar, they need gas. So gas is really important. You're going to have a lot of minerals as the game gets later. So what do you spend the minerals on? Cannons. So worth it in your mineral lines. What I usually do is, because my opponent went Warp Prism, I put a cannon down in my mineral line. So just to make me feel safe, but it's really awkward here because, like, I put it down and then he comes in like the worst timing possible. And my stalkers are over here doing God knows what. So that was a really unfortunate situation. This Zealot gets a couple kills, which kind of sucks. 6 workers killed, not bad at all, but still I have that Colossi lead. And look at this, his probe making is slacking. His slacking. He's not very good at building probes. Gotta build your probes. But that can also be attributed to the fact that his Nexus just now finished, and mine's been up for a while. So now we're starting to transition into the late game. I'm starting to think, okay, what do I want my late game composition to be right now? I'm just continuing with the Colossi production, getting a decent ground army, some Stalkers, Zealots, Sentries. Not as important late game because usually in PvP your opponent's going to have Archons to crush those. Excuse me. Just had a bunch of Girl Scout cookies, so my stomach is kind of acting up a little bit. Girl Scout cookies are so good, by the way. Anyway, so Sentries. Viability late game, not too much. But right now, obviously, in case he tries to charge up my ramp, I need those. I guess you could try to do cute hallucination play. You can load him up in a Warp Prism and try to do some harassment. That's good, too. But I'm taking my third here. Does he see it? Yes. That was a mistake on my part. I shouldn't have let him see me expand. But I was just too lazy to go kill the pylon. And I had a feeling I was still pretty much ahead because I got my Nexus up so much further in front of him. And then we see, actually, I still don't know if I'm going to... if I want to watch what he's doing, or if I just want to do it from my point of view. I'll just keep it at my point of view. So still going with the upgrades. Anything else I want to say? Okay, so yeah, you're like, okay, why are you taking your third? What if he kills you? Again, at this point, I feel like I have a solid Colossi lead. I feel like I have a solid lead, considering he got that Warp Prism so early, which means my Colossi production would be pretty far ahead. So I feel pretty comfortable taking a third. Also on this map, it's pretty darn easy to defend your side of the map. There's a choke here. Here, over here, and over here at the top side. So whenever you position your army, you want to try to get like your units, like just follow my mouse, like all the way down here. This is your concave right here. I know this seems really dramatic, but it's like it does matter late game. And you can even go a little closer if your army is a little smaller and have your army like on the outside right here. So because your opponent will go through this area, he will go through here. There's no other way about it. So if you can get a nice concave around it, like, you're gonna be safe. So this side of the map, pretty easy to defend. You'll be like, oh, Axel, why aren't you there right now? Well, I can still cancel this Nexus. Did it finish yet? No, okay, it's just not finished. Honestly, if he goes up there to try to attack that, he's putting himself in a terrible situation, because to actually attack that, he's going up a ramp. His army's definitely gonna be like in a line, unless he like really gradually moves all of his army in a ball, which is like very weird. You can still like work out a way to trap that, but if he tries to engage that, like, he'll have terrible positioning. And that's the thing about PvP. It all comes down to positioning. It's so important. Spread out. See, look at this. Preemptively spread out your Colossus. Spread out your units. Put your Zealots in the front. I could have been a little bit better right here, putting my Stalkers a little bit in the back and the Zealots in the front. But it's always have your army positioned so that, you know, so that if your enemy comes at you with his army, you'll be prepared. So just always be aware of that. Warp Prism, again, such a good unit in this matchup. He's still being really annoying with this. By the way, I have an observer outside of his natural expansion, so I see when he comes out, and I haven't seen anything yet, so I'm chilling. And I also saw the probes going by, so I could imagine that he had a third. But again, to engage that third, you have to go up this ramp. If your opponent plays it right, he can catch you off guard. So really hard to engage these extra bases on this map. So I'm adding a lot of gateways here. Note, I was on 3 gateways until this point, so I'm just now adding all those gateways. I'm keeping my money and my gas relatively low, but you'll notice my gas is getting a little bit high, so I put down that Templar Archives. Definitely going to go into Archon production. So now you're like, oh my god, this sucked. I don't even know what happened here. Look at all these probes in my army. I somehow, for some reason, I don't know how, I clicked on this somehow when I was dealing with the Warp Prism, and I like, it's such a clusterfuck. All my probes, they're just like chilling in my army. So I send them back. And then I go back and look at my national, I'm like, wait, what the heck? And at the same time, he's attacking me, so I'm like, oh god, everything's going wrong. I'm going to lose this game. But again, position your units. So important. Spread out your Colossi. That's what I'm doing here. I could be a little bit better. I think I do get better here. But you got to expect, where's my opponent going to attack? He's going to attack through this direction, probably. So I have to position my units in such a way that if he does attack in that direction, I'll be fine. Because think about it. If he engages you, it's impossible for him to keep a concave. Eventually he has to A move. He has to A move eventually. And when he does that, like, all of his units are going to converge into one little spot. So just if you're the defender, keep your guys spread out. Once he commits to that, once he does that A move, then you A move your unit. Always be the second one to A move after him. I guess theoretically you could say, oh, if he has 500 APM, he can position his units the same, but You don't see that very often because that's like Korean player style. But see right here, he's like, okay, how do I position my units? I put down the Guardian Shield. He's trying to spread out. He's doing a decent job trying to do it, but obviously it's failing. All of his Colossi together. Mine are nicely spread out. You can see he has so many more Colossi than me. But at this point, it shouldn't matter. Let's see the upgrades really quick. This is pretty big engagement. Oh, 1. Okay, 1-1. I do have 1-1, which is nice. It looks like I do end up cleaning this up. His ground army wasn't so great, and again, the concave of those Colossi is so important. Look how many more Colossi he had. Actually, I want to go back and watch that really quick. I just want to see the unit counts going into that fight, and we'll see what the difference is. All right, units tab. He has 9 Colossi to my 6. That's dramatic, and this like perfectly explains the importance of positioning your units correctly. Sure, you can say, oh, you have 1-1 to his 0-1, but honestly, that's a little difference. It's not game changing. It's not like battle changing like this one. Let's see. He has 5 Stalkers to my 12. He has 15 Zealots to my 16. So my ground army is a little more meaty than his, which is pretty important. Also, oh my god, I screwed up my Guardian Shield. What happened was I had my High Templar. I didn't know I had this High Templar. Because usually, like, at this point, I don't have Storm. Like, there's no reason to have that High Templar unless I'm trying to feed back sentries. That's fucking stupid. Actually, I guess it could make sense, but I don't do that. So I thought I didn't think I had any High Templars. I tried to do Guardian Shield, and I was hitting G. I'm like, G. But my High Templar was, like, naturally the unit in my little group thing, the Spellcaster. So I was hitting G, and nothing was happening. But anyway, let's watch this slowly. Slowly. So yeah, look at this. Look at the positioning of his Colossi. It's absolutely terrible. Compared to mine, you gotta spread them out, get a nice look all the way down here. You gotta get that concave. Just think about it. Area of effect. All my units are gonna be attacking one location where all of his are. And think about if his Colossi want to hit mine, one Colossi is gonna shoot over here, one over here, one over here, one over here. One Colossi is gonna shoot over here. And that's completely inefficient. Whereas for me, all my Colossi are going to be attacking in the same area. So all of my splash damage is going to the same section of the map. That's so important. And that's what gave me this battle here. So all of his units go to this central location, and then I A-moved right now, and then all my Colossi are attacking this one central location. Whereas his, I mean, they're attacking, but again, he's only killing my Zealots right now. I still have Stalkers in the back. All my Colossi are still alive. Just a very poor engagement from him. But look at this. He still has a supply lead. Also, something else to consider. Be very careful whenever you're engaging on your opponent's side of the map because he has the defender's advantage. He can warp in shit like right next to him. So make sure you have that forward pylon very close to your opponent. His closest one is right here. Could have been better. How many gateways does he have? I'm just curious. Okay, he only had 1, 2, 3. Ooh, he screwed that up. Oh, he only had 3 gateways that entire time. And he just now added them. So, you know, obviously I had the better reinforcement potential there, not only because I had more gateways than him, but because my pylons were closer. That's really important to note, too. Warp Prism still doing damage. Such a good unit. Use Warp Prisms, guys. So important. Oh, I was going to say something else. What was I going to say? Okay, and then I'm like, okay, that battle went pretty darn well, but I know he has a lot of Colossi. So I start ramping back up my Colossi production. I'm getting charges, or I can do blink. That's really important because I'm trying to get it. This Warp Prism should be dead by now. Oh, I'm on normal. I should be on faster. Oopsie daisies. So yeah, right now he has really good map vision. He has those watchtowers. I think I'd take care of that in a second. Patrolling an observer at the bottom here. I think that does have observer speed. It is moving insanely fast like a ninja. So I do have observer speed. That's pretty important. I did finally figure out this debacle of my mineral lines. My probe count is 62. I need to work on that a little bit. He's been killing some of those, I think. 13 workers killed, yeah. Pretty good harassment from him. Again, Warp Prism's so good. Taking my 4th because I'm like, okay, that went pretty well for me. Again, defender's advantage so important. I feel comfortable taking this 4th. So I'm completely comfortable turning this into an even later game. So at this point, I had a lot of gas. If you just noticed, I just warped in a bunch of High Templar. Archons are so good in this matchup. And now comes the question. Late game, PvP, what's your composition? What composition are you shooting for in the late game? Some people say Mass Void Rays. Some people say nothing but Colossi. Some people say Mass Charge Lot Archon. I'm a firm believer in a good amount of Colossus, a very good amount of Colossi. I probably usually get 7 or 8. And then as the game goes along, is my Warp Prism still around? I know I sent, he's probably back here. But as the game goes along, you're gonna naturally have more Zealots and Stalkers because you keep warping them in throughout the game. So a good way to get rid of those units so you can get out your meteor Archons. I mean, to a certain extent, a lot of charge lots are important, but I would rather use charge lots to harass than and I would also rather have Archons in my army. So as my gas gets higher, as this game goes along, as I approach maxed, I want more Archons in my composition. They're like one of the best units for the Protoss player. Like they soak up so much damage. Like 350 health is ridiculous, and Protoss don't have PvP, don't have EMP. That would be imbalanced. Actually, it wouldn't because it's Protoss. Anyway, so he has no way of getting rid of that energy really fast. So Archon's very meaty units, very nice of soaking up damage while your Colossi do the rest. Also, they're anti-air, so if your opponent does go for Void Rays, which my opponent was, and I think I scouted it, that's fine. Look at all this Colossi. Wow, it's a lot of Colossus. So yeah, and like Archons, they do pack a punch to a certain extent. Like if you can get them up against the Colossi, they do a decent amount of damage. So yeah, my personal ideal late game composition, you know, realistically, obviously some might say, oh, 200, just carriers, no probes at all, man. Well, yeah, I mean, sure. But like realistically, a lot of Archons, a lot of Stalkers, or a lot of, no, scratch that. A lot of Archons, a lot of Colossi, and a decent gateway army. And my map vision is decent right here. I got Observers patrolling. I got Stalkers at the Watchtowers. It's pretty important too. I took back that control after I won that battle. And you can see he is going for the mothership, and my fleet beacon just finished, so we'll have to see what happens here. Again, I think, another addition to that late game comp is the mothership. Very good unit. Of course, vortexing, you know, you could cut your opponent's army in half. Recall, not used as much. But again, the vortex, pretty darn important, especially when you have Archon. So I'm getting a mothership pretty soon. I think I build it under this Nexus in just a bit. Oh, I don't have enough supply. Am I harassing? I am harassing. So yeah, again, late game, PvP, you're going to have a lot of money. You're going to have a lot of minerals. So a way to get rid of those minerals, warp prism around the map, warping in zealots. Make sure you keep enough supplies so you can actually warp in zealots. DTs, good as well. Very, very, very good. And you can see my money and gas is high, but that's because I'm almost maxed, and I had just started my mothership, so now I'm essentially maxed. Also, cannons. No reason not to add a couple more cannons at each base. Very important. So your opponent doesn't do any. So your opponent's drops don't do any damage. Also, upgrades very important. Again, if you have a lot of money and a lot of gas, no reason not to spend those on upgrades. But yeah, you're gonna have a lot of money because you know it's natural. Like you're not gonna use all your gas. I like just completely lost my train of thought. But yeah, gas on Archons and Templar, money, cannons, and zealots. And as you're building towards your ideal late game unit comp, which is what I'm doing here. Also, a lot of gateways are important. I'm adding on 9 here. I can afford to do that. So how many gateways do I have? Let's count them all. Actually, that may be all of them. Now that I think about it. He's still doing drops. It's really good from him. But yeah, I have a lot of gateways. That means I can remax pretty fast. And again, that's super important. Late game PvP, when you're engaging at the same time as you're using up units, this applies to actually every matchup. You know, if you're a Protoss late game, you want to be able to warp in units to help the fight out, like right away. And so theoretically, you can have a 250 army against a 200 army of your opponent, and that's essentially what happens in this upcoming battle. He doesn't have a forward pylon, but look at all these Colossi. Holy jamolies. Pause. All right, there might be. Oh my God, this is annoying. My War Prism kept picking up shit. It was annoying. But in any case, he has a lot more Colossi than me. Let's look at upgrades. 1-3, 2-2. So I have the better attack upgrade. 3-3 is almost done for him. He should he might wait for that actually. I don't remember if we're actually engaging here. So I don't think we do. I'm pretty sure. Let's just play it and see what happens. Yeah, he does back away. Okay. He's waiting for those upgrades. That's a good idea. And this is the first time I'm watching this replay over again. Obviously, I know what happened in the game. But again, see, look at the positioning of my units. Going for the concave. 3-3 is about to finish for him. That's his ideal timing. That's when he wants to hit me. I'll have 3-2, so he will have the upgrade advantage. I wish I could see what's in his unit comp right here. We're both max. Let's just look at the units tab. All right, he has 4 Void Rays, 9 Zealots, 15 Colossus, 3 Stalkers, a Warp Prism, and a Mothership, and an Observer, and 59 probes. I have 3 Observers. Oh, also, he's trying to do some shenanigans up here. But I warped in some zealots to try to clear that up. And I had this base too, so that's pretty important. He didn't have a 5th base, and I did. Of course, prioritizing the gas. That way, look, I can warp in just a million High Templar and make a bunch of Archons or Dark Templar. Okay. He has 6 more Colossi. 12. I have more Stalkers, obviously, by a lot. I have 3 more Zealots, and I have 7 Archons. That's a big deal. Archons, again, they soak up so much damage. It's actually ridiculous. Okay, let's watch this battle and see what happens. He has a mothership. I have a mothership. I guess we can talk about mothership tactics a little bit. Obviously, you want to vortex your opponent's army. And right here, I screwed up. What I could have done, I could have made a High Templar, feed back the mothership. Do that every time. I didn't do that because I wasn't thinking. But that's what you want to do. Feed back that mothership, get rid of its energy, lose a little bit of its health. Also important, war prisms or observers late game. Don't get your observer sniped if you're ever in this situation. Do not let your observers get sniped. See, I have 3 observers right here. He has 1. Because obviously the mothership cloaks, and if you lose all your observers, you can't see their units, so you have to focus on the mothership, and you have no idea what's shooting at you in the darkness, and it's very scary. And I'm looking to engage here, it looks like. I feel confident with my position. Putting down pylons close, it's so important. That way, theoretically, right when the battle starts, I can just start warping in units, and that will help a bunch. But his Colossi are coming forward here. He's looking for an engagement. We both are. Looks like he wants to go for a Vortex. And my Warp Prism, I don't know what he's doing, but he is engaging. But look at this concave I have. Again, so important. Spreading out my units across this concave. And he's, again, just going to the central location. Look at his lasers compared to mine. His lasers are all fighting in different directions, going to different directions. Mine are all pretty central, going to the same locations. I think a Vortex happens here. Again, the concave pretty important. There's the Vortex, and I'm like, okay, there goes half my army. So I'm going to back up a little bit. I don't feel comfortable, and this is important. Right here, you'll see it in a second. There we go. All those Stalkers instantly. I'm back up to 168 supply. Where's his reinforcements? Way back here. His furthest forward pylon was right here on his side of the map. And look how far these zealots have to walk. And they're zealots too. They're not that fast. So I'm able to warp in my Stalkers right here. Half of my army is in that Vortex. So let's see what happens. My mothership just now getting enough energy for Vortex. And that's important to note. My mothership didn't have enough energy for Vortex. And also right there, his observer just died. That's pretty important too. I think mine are still alive. Units tab. Yeah, I still have 2 observers somewhere in this debacle of units. I don't actually see it. Let's watch it through. My guys come out. I'm like, cool. All those Stalkers are definitely helping. And now his Zealots are just now getting in the fight. And there's the Vortex getting rid of all the Colossi. The Zealots are dead. And a Colossus got scared and jumped to the Warp Prism. And I tried to take it out, but I accidentally warped a guy in. Warp against Stalkers to reinforce. Really important. Even more Stalkers. And then I got to position my units so they're spread out so that he doesn't... So that when his Colossi come out of the Vortex, he doesn't instantly laser all my shit down. You know, that's the idea of the Vortex. You want to get his stuff together so you can use your splash damage to fuck his shit up. And that's why it's important to spread out the Colossus. End up doing that, and I blink forward and take out the Colossi. And then from here, that's pretty much the end of the game. I just go clean up. So, again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want me to do more of this, let me know in the comments. And I can do different matchups, explain reasoning, explain logic, explain the awesome game of Starcraft 2. And help learn, and it helps me too because it helps me get better as a caster and as a player, which is important. I think that's it. Let's just watch the rest of this. He blinks all of his Stalkers forward. That's fine. But my mothership comes forward, and then he can't see me. He can't see me. He can't attack me. Observers, get them. Get those observers. Get those observers. Get those observers. Alright, so that's it. Anything else I want to say? And yeah, that is a weak point of what I did. If he had gone blink, that probably would have killed me. You know, I don't know. I think there's always an element. Like, I'm trying to think of a super safe build. You know, I did cut a corner there. Like, I'll be honest. Like, most players will get an Immortal out. You know, just to make sure to deal with that. But then your Colossi come later. And I could have done that. Like, my Robo was, like, not used for a long time, so I guess I could have gotten a Immortal out sooner too. But we're all learning here. Anything else I want to say? And that's all I want to say. I think that's all I want to say. I have 5 bases, prioritizing the gases, lots of gateways, cannons at your mineral lines, very important. Upgrades important, mothership important. Every upgrade imaginable, I think I pretty much got, except for Storm, which is important as well. Shield upgrades, you can start on those as the game gets later if you have a lot of money and a lot of gas. Don't be afraid to add on a second forge. Ooh, Void Ray carrier transition. I don't like it as much unless you open up with Stargate play, because then you're probably going to have an upgrade or two, and you're probably going to have Void Rays on the field. Like, he could have theoretically transitioned into carriers because he went for earlier Void Ray play, and I like carriers late game, PvP. But again, they're really expensive. Is 4 bases enough? Who knows? Maybe you need 5 bases. I did have 5 bases. I had a lot of money and a lot of gas. But then again, most of that game, it came down to positioning. Again, so important. Get those concaves. Get those concaves. Get those concaves. He was ahead 6 Colossus on me in that one engagement. Actually, pretty much in every engagement, he had a substantial Colossi lead. But if you have the better concave, you will win the engagement. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Again, if you'd like it, leave feedback, whatever. But see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.